Hi guys, welcome to our Springbok Media Conference. We've got Ox and Jason. Please raise your hands for questions, and please guys, one question at a time, and then we can just do maybe at the end a little bit of Afrikaans, and if Oxy wants to surprise us, he can as well if he wants to, although he doesn't generally. So cool, hands up for questions. Annemie?
Is it okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is this type of test the one that schoolboy dreams are made of? I mean, there are a lot of tests you're going to play in your life, but playing against the All Blacks is something different in South Africa?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100%. I think that's a dream. That's the standard, I would say, and that's also like when you, as you grow up, a Bok fan. That's the big moments, and you you plan your Saturday, and some people plan the week around watching the Bok test, and then having to being able to experience it myself. I'm looking forward to it a lot, and I think it is a real deal.
But just have you taken a moment ever to sit back and just say, I mean, geez, this year has been amazing for you, and now you get to start against the All Blacks. Have you sat, has it sunk in at all?
I think I've been living on the momentum and the excitement. I don't think that moment has come fully where I can sit back and be like, hey, this has been massive. But I'm enjoying the moment and trying to make the best of it and trying to serve the team well and enjoying it along the way as well.
Have you felt the difference in this week as opposed to the other test weeks in terms of just excitement and things like that?
For myself, it was quite a bit of nerves from early in the week, but I think it's just the intensity, the urgency, the effort that goes into the prep. It's up there, but we have been doing well with the prep for the previous test as well, so it's similar for me.
Ox, for basically everyone here that will never have the privilege of scrummaging in a test match, especially against the All Blacks, can you just describe that mano-a-mano situation of you looking at your opposition in the eyes before you go down in the scrum and the emotions going through you, and what little tricks you might play to sort of upset him, and then once you've kind of scrummed him to hell and back, how that next scrum is, and if there's fear, and if you see that in his eyes, can you just explain that situation for us?
I think, for me, it's like a scrum is very personal naturally, and most pubs take it very personally, and you always know the first one is probably going to be like you there, you think, you know what, you're there to actually represent your country, and you take pride in that. And from there, for me, it's like there's no way, like you're gonna have to, your tricks will be better than mine, and for me, like I have to prepare as well as I can, and then obviously teams will definitely prep as well, but in the end, it's like all about who has the biggest pride and who's the most proud. And after the first scrum, it's always like, okay, we feel each other out. The second scrum, I think that's when you know what, you're in for a long day, and whoever sings last, or whoever sings the longest will sing last. So I think for me, but as soon as you get the upper hand from after the second scrum, then you start seeing the doubt. You start feeling in the scrum as well, like how they start playing tricks and finding new ways to actually disempower you, if that's a word. But and I think for me, that's when you start seeing the doubt, and that's when you know what, I have him.
When they start faking injuries, then you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ben, Jason, have you had a chance to look at last year's World Cup final and maybe take a few pointers on how management percentage sort of makes its way around the field?
Yeah, obviously, I had maybe I can't say that, but I watched the game over a couple of times, and specifically as well what Peter Step did. So it's a good question. I definitely did that, but I'm going to learn from him. My game is not exactly the same as his, and we're on the field at the same time, so we're going to be doing different roles. But I learn a lot from him, and it just it gives you a lot of confidence to have guys like Peter Step on the field with you.
Ox, what is your approach to handling the haka when you facing it, what goes through your mind?
I think for me, it's like a moment where I get to actually think about what my job is on the field. Because, I mean, you have to also respect that it's like the New Zealand culture, and for you have to think, you know what, your next job, and how do you actually get yourself into the best position, what's the next job from here, and, you know, being the best you can. Because I think that's a moment where you can actually say, you know what, this is actually like, these are people showing pride for their country, and what are you going to do to show pride for your country, like, you understand, and stand up for your country.
So it lifts you.
Yeah, it lifts you. It gets you in a moment where you have to decide, it's you or them.
It's been 10 years since the Boks last week, All Blacks at this park. Has there been any chat around that, and how do you ask people to take that?
I think our focus has just been this test, obviously, and we don't really focus much on what has happened, but like what has recently happened. Like, I mean, you think the last time we played the All Blacks was in the World Cup final, so they'll be definitely hurting, and they're going to come guns blazing for us. They're not thinking, you know what, it's been 10 years since they've like we've lost against them or whatever, but they'll be thinking about the last time we played these guys was in the World Cup final, and they're gonna come out and seek blood.
Ox, how much difference is the challenge that the All Blacks will bring in the scrums as compared to other sides, or Australia or any of those sides?
I think the All Blacks, they obviously have the individuals that have X factor, but the thing they do really well is the basics. They actually, you can see even when you analyze the team, is like they get to a point where they like perfected their basics, and you just have like even when they're tired, the thing they go back to is basics. And I think that's the hardest thing about them, is that they have checks and all of that, but like when things get tough, they go back to basics. And I think that's probably the hardest thing compared to most other teams, where other teams will try to individually, like, obviously try their own checks, but they literally just, the harder it gets, the more they come together and actually we focus on their process and basics.
Then Jason, look at a guy like him, he's been an ever-present in that test since 2012. In a week like this, especially for someone who's playing his first test, what do you learn from it in this weekend? What have you learned from it in the time that you've been in the Boks camp, and its importance to the team in general?
Specifically, I think something that stood out to me from a conversation that I had with him early, from my time in the first couple of weeks in the camp, was asking about his getting up for games, and his hunger to his competitivity, and his desire to win. And he said, like, as he plays, as he gets more experience, he gets more hungry to win, and more passionate about winning those matches. So I just think it's about the heart with which he plays. You know, he has his heart on his sleeve. You know, you can even see the way that he celebrates small moments and big moments when we get a win. So that's kind of like you feed off that energy, and also just his passion to give his best for the team.
Okay.
Jason, speaking of Eben, he passed fit today, so included on the bench. Before that, you were the lock replacement. Do you feel like you've dodged a bullet, not getting potentially a bit closer to the front row, or are you a bit disappointed not to?
I guess it simplifies my job a little bit, but I am working on having full confidence to fulfill that role. But maybe it is good that there's a bit more time for me to prepare.
Does it give you more sort of license to sort of really empty the tank, and the knowledge that he's there, and that Peter Steph's also there, obviously, so your backup at number 7 is effectively already on the field. I mean, you can really empty the tank.
Yeah, definitely. It gives me a lot of confidence in that sense.
Okay. And just one other thing is you arrived after the sort of Super Rugby era, around the same time. So have you ever played against a New Zealand team before? I mean, at age group level?
I've only played against the under-20 team in the Junior World Cup 2018. So we played them in the 3rd and 4th playoffs. That's the only All Black team I've played.
Okay, so it's the first experience in senior league.
Working with Coach Dan, how was it sort of like developed you to having a scrum guru about the technicalities that are going to scrum?
I think it's helped me a lot because he's since my first year out of school, he's been coaching me, so we've built quite a solid relationship, and he knows what I can do. He's seen the hard work that I've actually put in, and I know I can trust him, and whatever criticism he gives me, I can always take with on the chin, because I know he's actually being genuine and honest and wants to see me do the best I can or be the best I can be.
BJ, a lot of you guys who've just come into the tests just seem to have not looked out of place. You guys have just went to Australia. Maybe just what would you attribute that to, and just the level that you found since coming into the Springbok Center?
I think there's a couple of things. The one thing is it's a very welcoming environment. So since I've joined, I thought it was going to be more tense. And it's actually relaxed among the players and everything. Obviously, it gets tense when you prepare and big weeks like this, but it's among the players, it's relaxed and you build a relationship, and it's a good time. Another thing is just I have to give glory to God. It's been a lot of grace that I've experienced. Obviously you prepare a lot and you try to get yourself physically on a level that you can perform here. And when you get here, it feels like there's a lot of things that lift you to perform on that level. So all the support as well, but just glory to God as well.
Let's take the last English question there from Kaniso and we move on.
Jason, just tell us more about yourself, your background, your IB at Paul. Was it also how happy you were with last week's result against Grey?
Paul Rowe's first team, they went unbeaten this year, if anybody didn't know. No, I'm very, very, very happy. I was involved with a bit of coaching at the junior teams, grade 9 teams, and I enjoyed it a lot. And just to see how much fun they have and with how much freedom they play, it's inspiring. And I came from there. It's been some of the best days at school playing rugby with mates. Just happy to see them do well.
Okay, let's move on to the next and Afrikaans.
Jason, oor die jare het ons heel wat legendarische rolspelers vir albei kante gesien. Suid-Afrika en Nieu-Seeland is hierdie die ultimate maatstaf. Die rolspelers.
Ek dink definitief so. Ek dink dit is 'n baie groot challenge, want jy weet as jy intensiteit en physicality physicality bring teen ander spanne, partykeer sal hulle miskien terugstaan of hulle sal as hulle moeg raak bietjie uitback. Ek dink die All Blacks is so 'n span, hulle gaan vir jou 80 minute van rugby gee waar jy op jou beste moet wees. So ek dink dit is 'n baie groot challenge en dis een waarvoor ek soos ek gesê het, 'n bietjie nervous is, maar baie opgewonde ook is.
BJ, ek word baie geperk met Pieter Stephen. Dink jy, hy teken met 28 tackles in die wêreld in die eindstryd. Dit kan oortref word deur iemand in die span Saterdag.
Ek like baie tackles doen, tackles maak, of dit lyk maar so, dit gebeur maar so in 'n game. Maar wat hy gedoen het in die World Cup, ek weet nie of ek gou daarby uit gaan kom nie. So dit is net lekker om deel te wees van 'n span waar manne soos Pieter Stef en jy weet die backs wat ons ook het en die forwards, fisiese forwards, hardwerkende slim forwards. Is lekker om deel van so 'n groep te wees en dit lig jou nogal. So ek gaan maar net my beste gaan gee en kyk wat gebeur.
Everyone happy?
Yeah.
Until you relate to prepare for weekend for game times. King and the winning court scrum times and then the currency line lesson to the claim again. A mark King and the winning guys over shot over.
Kenana araba sheba compared to Jarate Fitileng nkare mo re ka ba tholanting ke are hita obane nka ba sada ganyana obane bana le ba faneleng for ba ba telele and then bana le matlo obviously, so ba batla matlafala mo and le batho ba hlambenteng timing ya bona ba matla jolo ka ba qala. So ke nana opportunity ya bona ke mo re santso re thube shape ya bona, and then ke nahana ho ya pele re tla nna sharp.
Can we take one for each questions, then we'll
Ox, just maybe a word on Harry, who's starting ahead of you this weekend. Just he's obviously very quiet guy, doesn't speak much, but how is he in the scrum?
Well, Harry is pretty good. He works very hard, and I mean he does his basics pretty well, and he has, like, as much as he is quiet, but when it's time to work kickoffs, he is as hard as any South African I know, and he works hard, and he has a presence on the field. Even though, like, off the field when you meet him, he's chill guy, pretty quiet, but he knows what to do and can get the job done.
Cool. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks, Oxy and Vic. Thanks for the out there.
Can we just for a picture?